Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some changes I've been making to my eBay business recently. A little bit more on the purchase side to start with, and after today, with those items getting listed on eBay, we'll start seeing hopefully, the fruits of that work, and see if what I'm doing is ultimately paying off. After that, we'll talk about sales from last week, talk about the worst sales and the best sales. Stick around. If it's your first time here, my name is Brian. I'm an eBay reseller and I make YouTube videos as well. It's another passion that I have. On eBay, I sell in the everything category, which encompasses clothes, stuffed animals, coffee mugs, tools, pots and pans, really you name it. If there's profit to be made, I'm probably trying to sell it on eBay. Today we're going to get right away into the thumbnail, which is some changes I've been putting into my business. And I guess it's a change back. I was going to say, forging a new path, and I started thinking about it. And I grew up deer hunting, and you'd walk, down the mountains and stuff, and you'd see what used to be a path. You could tell it was still there, but it was all grown over, and that's kind of what this part of my business is. When I started on eBay, I started in the clothing category. I don't remember how I got to watching videos, watching rally routes, but I did. And then I started watching a few more people, and it wasn't long before I started stopping by my local Salvation Army and picking up a few pieces of clothing and some tennis shoes. And my wife thought I was an absolute nut job until I started selling some stuff. And my setup was the least fancy setup I've ever seen. It was just a hallway closet. I would just open the doors. I took a couple of the wooden shelves out, and it was a very narrow closet. It was just wide enough to hang a shirt side to side. And luckily it was already painted white. So it still had the rails on there where the shelves would sit, but I put a 3M hook so that I could put a hanger on the clothes, for shirts. And because I started primarily in shirts, so I did that. I had a metal clamp lamp, just a cheap lamp like you get at the hardware store for, it was maybe like $5, and a light bulb. And I clamped it off to the side and pointed it right at the shirt and the shirts, and that was my setup. So that's how I got started, and amazingly I sold stuff that way. You don't have to have some extravagant setup, but it helps. But you can still sell stuff even with not awesome pictures and lighting, because I did it. I know. So I'm kind of going back to an old path that I used to go down. I got away from clothing for a handful of years. It's not always the most fun to pick and shop for clothing, especially if you're doing it consistently. You get used to seeing the same stuff on the racks over and over and over, and then you get a little jolt whenever you find a new thing, if it's something that you can sell. But recently, as I've been looking at my eBay business, I wanted to make sure I wasn't limiting myself, which I was. So I found what I think is a nice little niche in pots and pans, selling a fair amount of those. Selling some tools and different odds and ends, but I wasn't really paying attention to clothing, which I think was probably a mistake. Clothing can be very saturated on eBay depending on the brand. That is for certain. I don't want anybody to think that I think I've discovered something new. This isn't a new thing. It's so saturated depending on what you're buying. So my goal is to not get low sell-through items and very saturated brands. That's not what I'm after. And there are people who do that, who have tens of thousands of listings or thousands and thousands of listings, and some of it is extremely saturated and low sell-through rate. And it might be because they have a very, very low acquisition cost. I'm not today in the game of buying in bulk. We do have a Goodwill outlet here, a Goodwill bins, but I've not found it to be very great. So the few times, I say few, I've been there about 6 times in clothing. I've not found anything great, but that could just be me. So I spend my time now, whenever I'm looking for clothing, at local thrift stores. You're going to pay more for it than you would at, say, a garage sale. And if I find it in a garage sale, I'll be looking there too. Estate sales are a little different. Usually it's, the clothes are a lot older and the style's different. But, yeah. So for the past few weeks, I've been keeping my eye out at thrift stores, been, perusing the shirts, pants, shorts, that sort of thing, and finding some really good stuff. Again, paying attention to what's the sell-through rate, what's the opportunity. If it's under 50%, and I don't know that I bought anything under 50% sell-through rate, but if it gets near that 50%, I want the profit to be quite a bit more than if it's, say closer to 100% sell-through rate. You can afford to make a little bit less money that way. Optimally, it'd be nice to be close to 100 and have great profit, but it doesn't always work out that way. And I say work out that way. It's my choice, your choice to buy the item or not. So that's one thing to point out is you don't have to buy something. But I talked a few weeks ago about wanting to make my thrift store trips more valuable, and my dollar sales more valuable each week. And can I pick up just a couple pair of pants a day? And I said, just a couple items a day, not per thrift store, because usually if I'm hitting thrift stores, I'm hitting a route and I'm going to somewhere between 4 and 6 stores all in a big circle. So I'm not even saying 2 per store. I'm saying 2 good items per day. So that's 10 items per week, roughly, is what I was kind of set out to do. So I have my old board over here. I've got materials at home. I'm going to be building my new picture board today that I can actually move around, or backdrop board, I should say, that I can actually move around without it being so stinking heavy. I bought a 5/8 inch piece of plywood and put my fleece blanket on there. The thing is so heavy. It's a pain in the neck to move around in this small space. I have a 15 by 10 storage unit, and moving this thing around is just nuts. So I've got a really cool design for this new one, and I'll show it off on camera. It'll probably be on Friday's video. I'll show that, but it's going to be pretty cool, I think. I don't know. Everyone else might think it's silly, but so let's talk about clothing. And I'm going to talk about a trip that I made yesterday. So I had lunch with my wife yesterday, and on my way back home, I hit 2 thrift stores, and the first one was a bust overall. I hit the cookware section, nothing. Scroll through the clothes, nothing. And I say nothing. I went through pretty fast. I didn't spend 2 hours going through every single piece of clothing. And I'm searching guys' clothing. I'm not looking at women's clothing. There's so many more sizes and fits and stuff in women's clothing. I'm not prepared for that yet, so I'm sticking to guys' clothing. Went through pants, went through shorts, I went through polos. I did not go through t-shirts, but that's what I went through. Went to the second thrift store. It's about 2 miles away, and went to the cookware section. Nothing. Came back and I was like, I was a little burnt out from the first thrift store, and I wanted to find a couple of shirts for myself, so I just started scrolling through the polos, and I came across this. Astros. So this is a vintage Russell Athletic Astros jersey, team shirt, whatever you want to call it. It's got the call out on the arm. It's got it on the bottom of the jersey, and the lettering matches up perfectly across the front here. This is a size XL. The red color is not as saturated as other colors. I thought, jerseys, there's no name. I was like, but jerseys can be worth something. Let's look it up. This Astros jersey, XL red, none listed. 3 sold in the past 90 days. They sold between $60 and $100. I paid all in $7.38 for this one. I'm listing mine at $89.89 plus shipping. All those were, the 60 to 100 were all plus shipping. I'm going to list mine for $89.89 plus shipping. I'm going to be the only one listed. And I think you know, I've got a pretty good shot at selling it. I'll probably turn on offers. Somebody offered me $80, probably take it. You know, it's $7.38, and they're going to pay for the shipping. I'm a little bit flexible on my price. So that was like, holy moly, that's awesome. I felt so good. I was like, man, made the thrift trip worth it. And then I was like, what else can I find? Let's just spend a few more minutes. What else can I find? And I spent about 45 minutes total in this thrift store. 45 minutes. So got the jersey. Walked around to the shorts, which they mix shorts and swim shorts all in the same, or swim trunks all in the same section. So I'm scrolling through, and I see this pattern. Like, it's kind of an unusual pattern. It's not trendy. It's not ultra tropical or flamingo print all over it or something. And I'm like, does it look like sailboat sails or something? And there's the tassels, really nice, like heavy metal tassels on them. Like, okay, seems like it's quality. Look on the back. It's got your little like breathing holes in the back. It's got a hit there on the back, a call out for the name, which I've never heard of. I still don't know how to say it. I'm saying Vilberquin. I have no idea how to say that. If somebody knows this brand, if you would please phonetically spell it out in a comment, I would appreciate it. It's got a nice little turtle logo there. But it is, yeah. So everything is in order. No stains, tears, anything. I don't know what it is. Seems like it's good quality. Let's look it up. Swim shorts. And it's not like full on. It's barely spring. It's not summertime yet. So keep that in mind whenever I say these numbers. 100. So this is a size large. 132 pre-owned size large swim trunks available. Past 90 days, 133 sold. So that's one more than are listed in the past 90 days. They're selling between $30 and $60 used. I'm all in on these for $5.75. I'm going to put mine at $49.89 plus shipping. Those were all plus shipping. The 30 to 60 were all plus shipping. So I'm paying $5.75. I'm going to list them at $49.89 plus shipping. So it's under the highest end. There were some that were $100 to $200 that were limited edition. I couldn't find that anywhere that these were limited edition. So I'll be happy taking $50 home. So another win. And then I was like, then I'm a little bit fired up. Like, what else can I find? So then I go through the rest of the shorts. There's nothing there. So I go around to the pants. And first thing I do with the pants is I kind of walk down the aisle and I just eyeball the pants. And what I'm looking for initially is like something that's maybe very heavy, like a very heavy fabric. That might be like a specialty outdoor pant. I'm looking for convertible pants that have the zip off leg below the knee. I did find a pair of convertible pants, but it was a Worldwide Sports brand, and the resale on them is like $12. It's not worth it because they're selling their pants for $7.29 plus tax. So didn't make sense. So then I just started going through and looking pant by pant, and I was going pretty fast because they have their denim and their like regular pants kind of mixed together. So I'm looking through there, and as I'm flipping through, that caught my eye. that's a Lululemon tag, in case you can't see it. I don't know if you can see that. And my heart like stopped for a second. I've never found Lululemon in a thrift store in the wild. And I'm going to preface that. When I was living in Illinois, our local Salvation Army, they had all the Lululemon that they got. They put it on a rack at the front of the store, and they had it marked up quite a bit. So they had it sitting right in front of the front desk there where they check you out, the cashier stand. And they had it all. And there was a sign. They even had a printed sign with the Lululemon logo right at the top and everything, so people knew that's where to go if you want to buy Lululemon at the thrift store. If you're buying it for personal use, like $20-25 or something, it's probably a great deal. But for resellers, it just didn't work. So I found these pants. immediately I snatched them off the rack. I could not find. I mean, all the markings are right, all the pockets are right, everything's right. These are totally legit. This is an ABC 5-pocket pant. It's a 32-32. I don't know the exact color. Some kind of a graphite blue. The tags aren't in the pockets. I saw somebody who had a picture where it was in one of the mesh pockets. I think there's a hidden pocket right back there. I think it was in there. But, you know what? Nope, there it is. I found it. There it is. I totally missed it. I was just looking on the mesh. It's right there. 32. So, everything's good on these pants. Looked up the pants in the size. So I went, whenever I'm trying to comp, I'm not just doing the broad comp on stuff like this to try to make a decision. I knew for $7.93 all in, I was going to buy the pants regardless. But there's 61 listed. So this is a 32-32 pre-owned, and I just did the blue color. They don't have a blue graphite filter. 61 listed, 49 sold, about an 80% sell-through rate over the past 90 days. They're selling between $30 and $50. So it depends. And I saw a couple that were higher, and then I saw a couple people who put theirs, I don't know why you do this, who put them on like auction and sold them for $12, plus $9.99 shipping. Like, come on, people. But I'm into them for $7.93. I'm going to list them for $44.89 plus shipping. I expect to sell them within about 60 to 90 days because I do promoted listings, and my top-rated seller status usually helps drive my listings a little bit higher in the algorithm as well. So now I've got 3 items that I think are winners, and my adrenaline's like pumping, and I'm sure if you're a reseller, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But my adrenaline's pumping, and so then I'm just kind of scamming the pants to see if I see any more Lulu tags sticking out, and I'm not paying enough attention. And I get to the end of the row, and I stopped myself. I was about to walk up to the front. I was like, you know what? I wonder, is the person who donated the shorts the same person who donated the pants? Both very high end. Man, maybe there's another pair of pants that I just totally missed. I need to go back and look. And I don't think they were from the same person because the sizes are different quite a bit. But I went back to kind of where the dress pants ended and started looking at normal pants. And saw this fabric, and it was kind of a cool sheen, shimmer, sheen, whatever you want to call it to it. And I looked at them. And I saw this call out here. I was like, Stio. I've never heard of that. S-T-I-O. And that's what the tag looks like. It's from Jackson Hole, Wyoming is where the company's located. And it says made in China. I'm like, man, I wonder if these are any good. But I looked them up. So these are the Stio Coburn hiking pants. This is a 35 regular pant. The shorts sell very, very well. I think it's over 100% sell-through rate on the shorts. The pants are slow. So whenever I was comping, I was doing Stio Coburn, and it was like 1 listed, 4 sold. And because I typed in pants, but whenever I did the sold in pants, it was still showing me shorts. And I didn't look at the items. I was just looking at the quantity sold. I had seen the prices on the listed ones, so I was anyhow. So there's one more pair of 35 regulars listed. There's 0 sold in the past 90 days, but the sold comps in the past for other sizes, like a size 36 or 34, were $25 to $50. So I'm into these. $7.93 all in. The other pair that's listed is just a plain like gray, like a dark gray. They've got them listed for 50. They've actually got theirs listed for 55 something plus shipping. So I'm going to come in at $39.89 plus shipping. So $7.93 all in, $39.89 plus shipping. And I think I'll probably move them just because I think it's a better color, that kind of vibrant blue sheen versus just the dark gray. I could be wrong. Could be biased because I love blue. But, I didn't even add these up. So I'm I'm going to say 90, 135, 185, 225. So I picked up what I anticipate to be about $225 in sold, items plus shipping. Whenever my primary goal, I was just popping in real fast. I walked back to the cookware section, didn't see anything. Coffee mugs, didn't see anything. Glassware, didn't see anything. And start coming back and just deciding I'm going to look at shirts. And, about 45 minutes later, I walked out with $225 worth of sold value product that is so easy to ship. It's so easy to store. It's this much stuff. If I'm storing $225 worth of cookware, I mean, it's a massive difference in the way you have to ship it and pack it versus this stuff. Or $225 worth of mugs. I mean, forget about it. So this is going to be a bigger part of my business going forward. It's not going to be all I do at all. I still love buying tools, buying cookware. Probably not going to do the souvenir mugs anymore, but there's lots of stuff I like to buy, and it's a lot of fun. I like the treasure hunt, but this is a good example. This was one thrift store only. There's signs that you'll see. I don't know if they still have them at TJ Maxx. It used to say like a different store every day. And Goodwill, or I don't know if all thrift stores are this way, but the Goodwill is for sure. It's like a different store every 1 to 2 hours. Just while I was at this store, 2 or 3 different times I heard, and this is in 45 minutes, come on the loudspeaker, hey, we have an associate bringing a new clothing rack out to the floor. Please allow them to put everything up on the racks before you shop the items. Just a reminder, green tags are half off this week. The reason I can say that is because I heard him say it so many times. And at both thrift stores I went to, I heard him saying it. So there is constantly stuff coming out. My wife was talking to one of the guys stocking the floor at a Goodwill this past week. And I forget what she was talking to him about or asked him a question. He's like, it's so busy here. We're so behind. He goes, we're supposed to have put out 6,000 pieces. I was like, what in the world? And I noticed while I was there, it's funny because I saw it and I didn't say anything about it, but there was big gaps in their racks where they had been consolidating the clothing as it was selling down or as they were pulling stuff off from the last to go to the bins, and they're filling it back up with new clothes. And he said they were, off their goal of getting 6,000 pieces on the floor. So it's a new store all the time. When I bought this stuff yesterday, it was about 3:00 in the afternoon. It wasn't first thing in the morning. There have been people there shopping that store. I've seen other resellers there, and it's obvious when you see them because they're just flipping. They're not shopping for themselves. They're flipping those items so fast, just looking for brand and style. It was 3:30 or 3:00 in the afternoon, and there was 4 winners on 2 aisles in 45 minutes. So it's probably a lot more than you wanted to hear about those 4 items and clothes and eBay and Goodwill. So sorry about that. But if you have any comments about anything I just said or questions, I'm happy to answer them or give you my feedback. Just drop those down below and be happy to do that. Now let's get into what sold last week. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what sold last week. Look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't know if there's any ugly in there. There's a little bit of bad, but we'll see. Last week sold 23 items, so 5 more items in the previous week. Got a total sales amount, and this is including items and shipping, of $628.02. After fees, shipping, promo fees, everything's taken out. That's $245.50 of pre-tax profit, or a 39% profit margin. All buried in there, made $9.47 on shipping last week. And it might be hard to believe. Somebody may say they think I'm like lying through my teeth, but that does cover, maybe probably more than covers actually, my like shipping expenses, thinking about boxes, packing material, tape, taking all that into consideration. $9.50 for 23 items more than covers that. And the reason why that is, I have a very, very low acquisition cost on my boxes. I've got to buy a guy that I buy bulk loads of boxes from. He collects them all, and I'll pay him $10 for a whole like carload essentially. And then my dad has been on a mission to make sure I have as many boxes as I can possibly use, which is amazing. And I know he's probably going to see this, so thank you, Pop. If you look back here at the wall of boxes, I'm so stocked on boxes. There's boxes way up here that you can't see. There's, I don't know, 75 boxes up there for various things. And I've got some over here that I have to find places for. So I have lots of boxes. And when you divide it all out, I've got, I don't know, 2 cents per box maybe. It's super low. I also get a lot of packing material that comes with all those boxes. Really good paper, bubble wrap, foam with bubble wrap, all sorts of great packing materials. And then my tape, I use my eBay store coupon. So I'm paying about $1 a roll for tape, and I go through a roll, I don't know, maybe 2 rolls a week, maybe a roll and a half a week, something like that. But my packing materials cost me virtually nothing. So number one profit source last week was thrift stores. So 12 items came from thrift stores. That's 52% of the items sold came out of thrift stores, and those were all Goodwills. Those all came from Goodwills. Promoted items, so were 16 or of the 23, or 70% of the items sold on an offer. 17 items, or 70%. How did I get that wrong? You can't be 16 and 70 and 17 and 70. It must be because of the rounding. I think I rounded up and rounded down. So now, I did run a sale last weekend. I didn't the previous weekend to see what happened, and I had like 6 or 7 sales over the weekend. This past weekend, I did run a lower value coupon. I ran a 20%, not a coupon, a 20% off sale across all the items, and pulled in 12 sales over the weekend from that. And the double dips, so that's items that were promoted and sold on sale. There's 10 items, same as last week. So lower percentage in total, which is nice. Now let's look at the 5 worst sales of the week last week. I did not lose any money. Made money on everything I sold, which I'm happy about. So no donations. But coming in at number 5 is this Farberware lid. I signed a cost of this of $1. I didn't buy it. It came on a skillet that I separated the items because it didn't belong on, it was mismatched. So it was on a Calphalon, or not a Calphalon, Magnolite. It was on a Magnolite skillet. And so I pulled it off, listed it separately. It took an offer of $8. So I made a pre-tax profit of $5.19, or 30%. It's pretty good. I've had it sitting over here for about a month and a half. Next item, so 4th worst item of the week. And I don't know if I should start calling them, keep saying worst or like lowest profit, because there's really some of these, they're just low profit. So 4th lowest profit sale of the week is a set of cast iron trivets. These are really cool. I thought they would go for more, and I saw some comps. I was probably looking at listeds instead of solds on this. It's probably my mistake. But I did sell them on the store sale, so I paid $6 for all three, sold them for $13.73 plus shipping for a $5.13 pre-tax profit, or a 21% profit margin. Glad to see those go. Third for sale of the week is this sewing box. I picked this up at a thrift store, an independent thrift store, for $2.20. I sold it for $11 on an offer. Somebody sent me an offer on that for a $4.78 pre-tax profit, or a 22% profit margin. I did have that one in inventory for probably about 4 months now, so I was glad to see that one go out the door. Let's see what else. Second worst are these shade control. So these are clip-on, just lenses. So they're not prescription or anything, but they help you in low light driving with that amber colored lens, so you can see better at night, kind of like the old school blue blockers kind of deal. Or people wear these whenever they're like target shooting, because they want to just, see more clearly and further, and if it's early in the morning or late in the evening, they want to see better. So I picked a couple of these up at a church sale for 50 cents a pair in the case, and I didn't even comp them. I was like, 50 cents, I'll give them a shot. And sold, this is the first pair I've sold them for $7 on an offer, for a $4.78 pre-tax profit, or a 39% profit margin. Two different items, $4.78 profit. And then the worst sale of the week. Interestingly enough, this was something my dad gave me. It's a steering wheel and driving, or control pedals for an online game. I believe you can also hook it up to like a PS3 or Xbox, something like that. But it wasn't as valuable as I thought it was going to be online. Whenever I went looking at them, they sold for 10 to 14, 15 bucks, depending on who was selling it. So I've had it listed for a few months, sold it for $12.21 plus shipping for a $3.42 pre-tax profit, or a 14% profit margin. So even at the worst one being $3.42 is better than it's been in the recent past. I think last week my worst was maybe like 56 cents. So a lot better than 56 cents. Get a little coffee here, getting parched. All right, now let's look at the 5 best sales. These are more fun, more sales dollars attached to them, better profit margins. And it's really cool stuff. I picked 4 of the 5 items here were from a thrift store. That's for sure. And all fairly recently too. So they've been, the sell-through rate on them has been pretty good. So looking at the 5th best sale of the week is this Trader Sam's. This is a tiki bar mug from Disneyland. Disney World. I don't remember which one. But it may say it up there. I don't know. But I found this at local Goodwill. I just thought it looked kind of cool, and the colors were very vibrant. And I picked it up. I saw on the bottom, of course, Goodwill had the sticker right. Man, they put the stickers right across the brand names, anything that you can use to identify items. Man, that's where they put that sticker. It drives me bananas. So I picked it up. I peeled the sticker back just a touch, the corner, so I could get a peek at some of the wording, and was able to comp it. Picked it up for $4.40, sold it for $24.89 plus shipping for a $14.95 pre-tax profit, or a 45% profit margin. I was a little shocked. I guess there's so many people that collect Disney stuff, but the sell-through rate on those things is really good. And for brand new ones, they're selling for 50 to 60 bucks. It's like, what in the world? Like, what's the difference between this used one that is perfectly clean, no chips, no nothing, and a new one that just has never been used or washed for double the price? It was like a little bit shocking to me, but it's just all what you prefer. Number 4 is this Plum claw hammer. This is a Regular old claw hammer has the original handle. It's a vintage piece. The plum hammers have a really good following. I think this is the 5th, 6th, 7th one I've sold in the past few months. Anytime I find them at an estate sale or garage sale for $1 to $2, I'm picking them up, even if the handle's not in this good a shape. If the handle was not in great shape, you can sell it for $20. But this one for $25. So I picked it up for $1 at an estate sale. It's been about a month ago. I picked up 2. I already sold the other one for $1 a piece and sold them both for $24.89 plus shipping. So this is a $19.57 pre-tax profit or a 58% profit margin. If you can find plum hammers, and you'll see it, it'll say on the head, on the side, PLUMB. If you can get them for $1 or $2, I mean, on now that I'm familiar with them, knowing I can sell it for $25 and sell it fairly fast, I would probably pay up to $5 myself. Personal choice. I'd much rather pay $1 or $2. Yeah, I actually thought I was paying $2 because he said $2 a piece for the hammers. And when I went to check out, he goes, "You know what? You bought a lot of stuff here. I'm going to give you the hammers for $1 also." It's like, okay. So he negotiated the price for me, which was awesome. All right, let's look at the third best sale of the week. This Fitz & Floyd. This is a cream-colored bamboo centerpiece. Looks like you could put, I don't know, food, fruits, something in it, center of a table. You could use it as a planner if you wanted to, even. You don't have to do it as a food thing. But had the original FF stamp on the bottom, and the FF sticker made in Japan on the bottom was still there from, I don't know how many years it's been there, probably 50 years. But I actually got this at the same Goodwill that I picked up that tiki mug, and they were probably this far apart. The Fitz & Floyd was on this shelf down here. The tiki mug was up here. I got them on different days, but I picked them up from the same spot on the shelf. It was pretty funny. But and I paid the same price. So I paid $4.40 for it. Sold it for $32.89 plus shipping for a $21.74 pre-tax profit or a 49% profit margin. In case my wife's watching this, I'm sorry. I've already said I'm sorry to her, but I did not tell her about this because when I first saw it on the shelf, I was like, I bet Amy would like that, which is what made me want to comp it and see what it was worth because I was really cool. And then all these things started going through my head. We have so many cool pieces of glassware, vases, bowls from garage sales, estate sales. We have more than we could possibly use. And at some point we're going to pare that collection down. So I didn't tell her about it because I'm like, if I pull this out and show it to her, it's never going to go to eBay. And we don't need it at all. It's going to go on a shelf somewhere. and we'll look at it twice a year and go, oh, that's cool. So whenever she saw it get sold, she was like, you didn't tell me about that. I was like, yeah, on purpose. Oh, but she knows. We were at an estate sale and a couple thrift stores last week, and we bought some glassware stuff just for us personal use. So it was anyhow pretty funny. Second best sale of the week is this CD tower. Super cool piece. I when I saw it at Goodwill, I didn't know what it was. I saw the lines, and I don't know why it didn't click to me. Probably because we're so far past CDs now. But snapped a picture of it. Thank you, Google Lens, and found some sold comps on eBay. Found 2 sold comps. I priced mine on the higher end of the sold comps, and there was 2 sold, none listed. Put it up. Somebody made me a very fast offer for $20 on my $45 listing, which I politely declined and offered them $40. Sent them an offer, and no response. So day after that, got a full price sale, $44.89 plus shipping. So that was a good one. $26.08 pre-tax profit or a 46% profit margin. And then the best sale of the week, a piece of cookware, go figure. This is best sale of the week is this Magnolite 12-inch. This is the the skillet that had the Farberware lid on it. So this 12-inch Magnalite skillet, picked it up for $8.60, sold it for $54.89 plus shipping for a $37.17 pre-tax profit, or a 51% profit margin. And I was super lucky. I had a box that fit that thing perfectly. It was a very, I think end to end, it was about 22 inches. So I had an actual short box that was kind of a weird shape, and that skillet fit in there perfectly. I was glad to see that go out the door. I did consider keeping that one because I'm like, man, I could probably cook up some really nice steaks in there, but I've got a piece of Wagnerware cast iron that I picked up that I'm itching to use that one. So that's it. I got all my rambling out about clothing. We talked about the worst sales and the best sales. The number of people watching the videos is continuing to go up. More and more subscribers every week. I'm so grateful for everybody that's watching, leaving comments, asking questions. Even the people that give me a hard time about the amount of profit I'm making or the items that I'm buying. I'm just glad that people care enough to take the time to point that stuff out, because I'll take it all. I'll take every bit of information I can get and somehow work it into the way I'm shopping and selling, making videos, any of it. So I really enjoy all of it, but I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below. I'll make sure and get back to you. And until next time, have a great day.